The reason I came to Now Hear This is I have a disease called otosclerosis, and it's degenerative hearing loss. And I felt that I couldn't hear at all out of my left ear, and I really needed help. And I noticed that it was affecting my driving. I would go to change lanes, and I couldn't hear cars coming up beside me. And that was a new experience for me that had never happened, and I always felt very confident about my driving. And suddenly, I wasn't as confident. And then I also, when I was in a parking lot, I did not hear a car coming up very close to me. And this started to happen more frequently. And I realized that I just couldn't assess where automobiles were around me or anything that could potentially be harmful to my safety. And so I knew it was imperative that I get a hearing aid. I chose Now Hear This actually because I was driving by and I saw some signs out front, and I just took an interest and had to discover it for myself because it was new. And I came on in, and my journey with Now Hear This began then. I was sad. I was mourning the loss of my hearing, but that was temporary because when I realized, that I am losing my hearing, then I thought, well, I need to do something about it. And I've always been a very proactive person, so I just want to fix the problem if I can. And the doctor that I saw at the time, I was actually seeing a surgeon who diagnosed me with otosclerosis, and he said that I could get surgery or do nothing at all or get a hearing aid. And he put me in touch with his audiologist, and when I went to get that fitting for that hearing aid, it wasn't working for me. I felt like I couldn't hear well at all. In fact, it felt worse to have a hearing aid in at that time. And then I became very upset because I didn't want to have surgery, but I also felt uncomfortable wearing the hearing aid. And so then I felt like I was at a loss. I didn't know what to do. I was very impressed with the process at Now Hear This. I felt very welcomed when I came to Now Hear This and very cared for. I felt like the entire staff at Now Hear This was concerned about my safety and my hearing and making sure that my hearing was as close to normal as it could possibly be. And I'd had an experience where I had tried a hearing aid at another office, and I felt very differently about that process. I felt that I was just a number and that I was just being sold a hearing aid. They did not ever mention a custom mold, or that they would try to balance it and get my hearing as normal as it could possibly be. And I just felt like I could be in and out of there, and they would never think twice about it. Whereas at Now Hear This, I felt like I was entering into a long-term relationship with my audiologist and with the staff, and that they were concerned about my hearing for the rest of my life. And this was very important to me because I felt quite vulnerable talking about my hearing loss, and quite frankly, I felt uneducated about my hearing loss because I had never been confronted with it before. But at Now Hear This, they took the time to educate me on what was going on with my ear and all of the options I had regarding hearing aids and hearing devices. And then they spent so much time with me in finding the right fit and in making a custom mold which fit my ear perfectly, that oftentimes I forget that my hearing aid is in, which is fantastic for me. I just don't notice that it's in. But it has helped me so much, and knowing that I can keep coming back to Now Hear This, and they want my hearing aid to be as precise as possible and for it to be as comfortable as possible. And if I need any tweaks or any changes, they're willing to do it and get me in and make sure I'm satisfied.